You are live with Skaters on Baseball. Hello, everybody. It's Schmitty along with Christian Cooper, and we are testing it out this morning. We're here on the YouTube platform getting ready for game 2. Christian, what's good?
No, I don't know. Not a lot's good after yesterday, seeing the Dodgers climb back out of the hole they dug for themselves. But I want to say, Mike Schilt, come on, man. You got to ride with Cease. You got to stretch him out. You're that afraid of Ohtani because he hit him once? Ay, ay, ay.
I'm going to say the best part of the game was Machado just hitting that blast off Yamamoto, standing there and looking at it go. Starting the game off like that, I was like, okay, here we go. Yamamoto, $400 million, and he can't even go, what? Did he go 3 innings? I think people like Corbin Burns and Blake Snell are sitting there licking their chops at seeing this $400 million 10-year deal that is, I mean, Logan Webb's better than Yamamoto. Like, it's insane. What are they thinking with that one? And the Padres just have to win tonight. They need to just split in LA and then they can go back home, win 2 at home, and the series is over. Dodgers pitching is sketchy to say the least, right?
Yeah. It's not. How many pitchers did he burn through last night? 7, I think.
Bullpen is taxed. Treinen is not going to be able to throw tonight for sure.
Yep. So, there's hope for the Padres. And I think really it boiled down to that pitching change was not smart. I think that you leave Cease in, and if Ohtani beats him, he beats him. But I don't think he was going to throw another pitch that Ohtani was going to be able to hit over the fence. And aside from that, I mean, the Dodgers just don't. I mean, look at Mookie Betts was pretty flat last night. Freddie Freeman stole a base, which when's the last time he stole a base? And it's just because nobody was watching. They didn't expect it. I'm not worried about it yet. I hate the Dodgers with such a passion. And it's funny, seeing Machado go back into Chavez Ravine. And at one time he was the most loved guy and he went to the most hated guy just like that. Right. And to stick a home run in their face, whether they win or lose a game, that was fantastic. What I will say about just kind of checking in on the other games is the umpiring has been atrocious in these games. And just a lot of like weird lackluster play. And I think most of it boils down to the pitching in these games so far, where it's like bullpens have been awful. Managers have made really suspect pitching changes at weird times. And it's just, I don't know. I don't want that to be the tail of the playoffs. I want them to be complete, fully rounded games with offense, with defense, with pitching, like all of it. I don't want to see it totally unbalanced and just go that direction. So hopefully we'll see some better games today,
Well, the Yankees game seemed like it was good. The Guardians, I think, are just going to cruise through their series. Guardians pitching is amazing. I'd be scared if I'm in the American League. Even the Yankees with all their guys, the Guardians are going to put up some tough games for whoever they face. The surprise for me, though, we got to go to the Purple Shake out there in New York with Grimace sitting there in his purple seat somewhere up in the stands. Are you kidding me? The Mets beat the Phillies in Philly? What's going on?
Yeah, the Phillies didn't eat their Wheaties yesterday morning or something. They just didn't have anything. And then, you ever notice how Grimace is sort of, his physique is very similar to Pete Alonso's?
Oh my God. The way they turned the season around over this purple character from McDonald's, I don't know if that's even like something to brag about or something to like be ashamed of. Like, I don't eat at Mickey D's, that's for sure.
Hey, whatever works, right? I mean, we had the crazy crab in San Francisco, and unfortunately he didn't do much for us, but who knows, Next thing you're going to see Mario from Nintendo and some of these other weird things popping up in stadiums that this gets the Mets deep in the playoffs. I don't think they can go all the way, but they're having a nice little hot streak right now. I mean, Alonso clutch home runs and just, just a lot of pretty surprising stuff coming out of New York with those guys, you know. So
Yeah, it was interesting. Right after Alonso hit that game-winning home run in the what was it, the Brave series.
Yep.
Of course, the Twitter lines, the X lines, whatever you want to call the Elon crazy madness social media platform, whatever you want to call it. Of course, the Giants are going to get Alonso. There's so many goddamn clickbaiters out there that are just throwing out any rumor left and right that they can conjure up with. Now the Giants are thinking about getting Brian Sabian. It's like yeah, they're getting Soto. Like who's buying all this stuff? It's just like, let's be real, kids. Pete Alonso probably not coming to the Giants, but I would say I think it's more likely than Juan Soto coming to the Giants.
It's more likely than Juan Soto. And I just got to say, I mean, I know you stopped following that Giants SF Central account on Instagram. I kept following it just to see how absurd they could get. And this morning there was a post saying that San Francisco Giants insiders say that Ha-Sung Kim is coming to the Giants. And basically my only reply to them was, you know, Farhan's not on the inside anymore.
Well, yeah, I was going to chime in, but I try to keep it positive. Every once in a while, I'll blow a gasket and throw some negativity out at someone. But I was going to say, Baseball Insider said that like 2 months ago before he got hurt. What rumors are you reading? I think your newspaper is like 3 months old, bro.
Yeah, I think I just there's some humor that I can find in it. And let's face it, you know, you and I, there's all kinds of stuff that we would sit here and try to prognosticate and predict and even sort of hope for. But the reality is like we know what's realistic and what's not for the Giants, you know. And with Posey coming in, there's going to be a lot more opportunity. I think we're definitely going to have a better structure to the team this coming year and in the years to come after that. But these people just throwing these rumors out there are just hilarious. I actually get some entertainment out of it.
I gotta say this straight to Eric of the Eric and Glenn show, because we've been talking and we've been bantering and it's been super fun. Those guys are inspiring the hell out of me. Like, I see what they're doing and I'm like, wow, that looks rad. And that's partly why we're doing this live platform now, just because I've seen what they've done with it and I appreciate it. So shout out to those guys. But Glenn, Eric, I think Glenn's on the same page as me, but Eric, mark the date, October 6, 2024, Soto not coming to the Giants. I said it now, and I'll say it till opening day. He is not coming. And here's the reason why, okay? We don't get to really go back and forth because you guys talk and I have to text and I get frustrated. But here's the reason why Soto is not coming. First and foremost, Buster Posey is at the helm. And what that means is he wants pitching and defense first. Soto's not that great of a defensive player. And his first priority is going to be, I hope, getting Snell, Fried, or Corbin Burns locked up so they have a really solid starting five. Then after that, they need a shortstop. Okay. Are they going to get Ha-Sung Kim like everyone thought, hoping that his surgery will be all better by next year? Kind of sounds like a Farhan move to me, but you know, we'll stay tuned on that. Willie Adames is out there. That's an easy pickup. Glenn's been talking about trading for Bo Bichette. I'd love to see Bo Bichette and Vladdy come over. I'll take Bo Bichette all day if he brings Vladdy over. And maybe Matt Chapman has been secretly talking to his old teammates, and that could happen. We'll see. I don't know who the Blue Jays would want from the Giants. There's a few guys that are obviously off limits. Eldridge is not getting traded. I kind of don't think Harrison would get traded, but now that they have so much pitching, maybe they would do that for a Vladdy, like a combo of that nature. I don't know. But anyway, getting back to why Soto's not coming. Posey does not want to go out on a limb and be the next Farhan and say he came up second. I don't think Soto wants to come to San Francisco, first and foremost. So that means you go out there, you publicly chase another superstar that you don't get. That's very risky for a first year guy. Buster wants to make a huge impression. He's a winner and he knows what he's doing. So he goes in and he throws some money here, there, everywhere and gets like 4 or 5 guys instead of that one mega superstar. And there's hopes of Eldridge becoming that superstar, Ramos becoming that superstar. What was the Giants' success when Posey won the 3 World Series? All these guys came from their farm system. They didn't go out and pick a super high profile player. They never did that. And if they did, it could ruin the clubhouse. And who could ruin the clubhouse more than Juan Soto? I would argue that Juan Soto is so risky to bring into a chemistry where it's kind of an everyday play, everyday working man's mentality. Everybody's on the same page. And then all of a sudden they see this guy that's, high profile, prima donna, dancing, doing all his things. It drives me crazy when he gets in the batter's box. Nobody does it worse. So there's all that. And then there's just other things we need more. Our outfield isn't that needy, whereas our shortstop, pitching, and defense, we were not great last year. There was a lot of errors at the shortstop position. With Jung-Hoo Lee coming back in center field, I think that's going to be huge. Ramos is established. That just leaves right field. DH, we might keep Encarnacion. Here's what happens. If we bring Soto over, if that was to happen, I would just put him in DH. I would have the outfield like super good defensively, get a defensive shortstop, and then great pitching, and I'm feeling really good.
Yeah, I'm with you. I don't believe Soto's coming. And the outfield, I mean, that's not the biggest hole that needs to be filled. I think there's some guys out there. I mean, obviously the Giants, by all appearances right now, are lacking that big outfield power bat. But who's to say that, a year from now, Ramos isn't just destroying the ball every time he comes to the plate? I mean, we saw flashes of his brilliance. He's definitely got power. The Soto just seems like a no-go in terms of what it would cost, how many years that you're stuck with him, right? And you mentioned the playoff runs and the World Series championships. They didn't go out and sign these big acquisitions from other teams. They did it with homegrown pitching, some homegrown talent, some guys that they identified traits that were really great, like Angel Pagan coming over, and then those couple of trade deadline signings, Cody Ross, Marco Scudero, guys that ended up being heroes in the postseason runs. So, the Giants' formula is just different. It's a little more blue collar. And let's face it, Juan Soto, dude is an egomaniac, the talent, you can't deny it, right? But that guy doesn't want to be in anything other than the largest markets in baseball. And when you look at it, he's basically played in a middle market in Washington. He's played in an upper middle market in San Diego, which is now, a large market. And he's played for the Yankees, which is probably the biggest baseball market on the planet. Now, maybe the Dodgers try to jump in that race too, because they're not afraid to just throw money, right? But I don't really see him going anywhere other than staying with the New York Yankees. Maybe the Mets, because the owner is filthy rich, might try to make a play for him just to screw the Yankees over. The Dodgers might jump in, and where else is he going to go? I mean,
maybe the Nationals, I hear.
Yeah. And anybody who's been paying attention to Soto when he was in San Diego, they were mediocre last year. Then he leaves, and suddenly, where's San Diego now? They're in the division series.
I was going to say the same thing. And the reason Baumel left there, I have a feeling like that's what I want to hear. I want to hear Snell and Baumel back this Soto guy, because my feeling is maybe they didn't get along. And so if Baumel didn't get along with Soto or didn't like his shtick or whatever, there's no way he's coming to San Francisco. So that even adds more of a problem for that. But I guess, I see all these people talking about Soto. And my question would be, so you bring Soto over, you just shot your whole wad. You're going to live with a guy at shortstop that makes errors almost every time a ground ball comes to him, at least once or twice a game. You're going to have a hole in your starting pitching. You're going to be relying on all youngsters except for Webb. You're going to need a bullpen upgrade. There's a lot of holes. And yeah, you bring over a 300 hitter that's probably going to hit 30 home runs. He's a great offensive guy. There's no doubt in that. We can't argue that. But it's just I think he's going to want a lot of dollars. I mean, he's going to want, what do you think, 500 or 600 mil?
It could easily go north of that. I think what's going to happen is there's going to be a big bidding war that we won't see any of it, but behind the scenes, these teams are just going to keep upping the ante on the guy. And Glenn and Eric, I love these guys, but they sit there and talk about, this is the guy you build around. Well, how the hell do you build around the guy when you spent every penny you had on him? You're not going to build anything around him. You're going to sit there and try to like rearrange the pieces you already have around him. That's not building around a guy, And I mean, a lot of people get on there and they argue, Crapman this and Chapman that, and too many years, too much money. But, quite honestly, he's the guy you build around because now he's stuck in there for 6 years. He's going to be a mentor to whatever third baseman is going to come up 3-4 years from now. And he's a team guy. He's team oriented. And that's what you want. Soto's not team oriented, man. There's just no way. Yeah. I mean, it might look like it because he's out in New York and he's with Aaron Judge and he's with Giancarlo Stanton, who's about to hang it up. And he looks like he's part of a team, but really he's one of those guys that's just sort of an individual type dude. It's like, we don't need another Carlos Beltran in San Francisco. Okay. We don't.
And I'd argue Beltran was way more of a team player than Soto's going to be. James Dryden has a great point. Why would he leave a 315 right field wall? A lot of those balls are not going out at AT&T. We know that.
That's right.
But to defend the Soto move, Soto's numbers at Oracle are very good. He's done well there. So, I mean, look, offensively, I'm not going to lie. If the Giants did get him, I'm not going to be bummed to have him in the order. But if they do get him, they better spend more money. And Greg Johnson wants to break even or barely get ahead. He doesn't want to compete with the Yankees and Dodgers in my mind, but we'll see. Shout out to Tim McKenney, by the way, who's out there watching on a little Sunday drive. Thanks for tuning in,
yeah,
Tim.
Yeah. Yeah, can you imagine Soto playing in right field at Oracle? He'd be running into the archways and getting his shirt caught in the cyclone fence. I mean, he's a disaster.
Yeah, it's I don't know, but we don't even have to get into those discussions full bore yet because nothing can happen till after the World Series. So as for now, I'm rooting on my forever Giant. I wish we kept you, Donnie Barrels, over there at first base. I love seeing Solano out there. God damn it, the bases were loaded and he struck out, and that was a huge opportunity. Me and you both agree Machado has matured. Guys like Soto and Tatis have made Machado look like an older brother or a father figure and not the crazy guy that he was with the Dodgers back when. Cease with that mustache and the crazy delivery, he's a wacky character, man. I don't know if I've seen enough of Cease to know if, I can't wrap my head around him too much, but I believe tonight is Yu Darvish, he's a veteran, so hopefully he's not going to be nervous. He comes in and he gives them at least 5. We need a starting pitcher that can go at least 5. I'd like to see 6 out of Yu Darvish and some runs early. And let's pitch to Ohtani a little differently. I don't want to just lay down to Ohtani. I think a left-handed pitcher can pitch well against Ohtani. We saw who was our guy, Bivens or somebody that struck him out like 2 or 3 times in one game, the reliever that came in.
The game I went to last year in Anaheim, Mania struck him out twice.
You see, I
And
think the lefties have a lot of success for him, which is why we need Snell or Fried.
agreed.
Corbin Burns is great, but he's a right-hander, so he'd be my third pick out of those 3.
Yeah, yep, definitely. And I just the whole Snell thing is just hard to even think about because that deal that Farhan made for him was just horrible. Horrible. I mean, in a perfect world, that guy gets the right kind of contract in San Francisco. And we're sitting here going, man, I can't wait to see what Snell does next year on a full spring training, full offseason regimen. He knows where he's going to be playing. And it's more than likely he ain't going to be in San Francisco next year unless Posey is somehow able to pull off a miracle, right? So, listen, I would love to see Snell back in San Francisco. I'd love to see him get a 5-year deal, maybe even a 6-year deal with a player option in the 6th year, right? He's still going to cost you less than Soto, and you can still go out and shop around and bring in some other players around him. I just think Soto is totally prohibitive from doing what the Giants need to do, which is they got to fill multiple holes. They were already in the luxury tax bracket last year. So how much are they going to tolerate spending? I mean, okay, so you get Snell off the books and you get Soler off the books. You still got a huge salary that they're dealing with, and they haven't even gone out and gotten anybody yet, right? So it's going to be interesting. I'm cautiously optimistic, but I do think that Posey's going to call in the right people, and I think we're going to be looking at some much better signings. So,
yeah, and I mean, you can't deny that just being in the room with Posey, especially for the younger stars, they're going to be a little bit of a starstruck. Like it's a way different discussion when you're sitting across from Buster Posey than you are the nerd that has all the fucking numbers in his iPad. So I think these discussions can go a lot different direction once they decide on who they want to go all in on. I kind of believe that, like, if Buster wants to go all in on someone, that they'll get whoever that person would be. So if Buster was like, I need Soto, we need Soto, I think they could get him. I just don't think that that's his mentality. I don't think that he's that type of guy. Look at Buster and Soto are like complete polar opposites. Buster's a quiet guy. He gets the job done. He's not a cocky guy that brags or like has some crazy that bat thing in the dirt and his whole little like I get it. Like I love seeing a touchdown celebrated, right? Like I love a bat throw home run, but Soto goes like so far that he looks like a guy to me that is about to get beamed his next at bat. Like he taunts pitchers. He's like a Puig type guy almost. I mean, better talented, but same demeanor. And that's just something that I don't know if I can get behind as a Giants fan. What do you think the keys are going to be? Obviously scoring early tonight, but like, what do you see happening for this Padres Dodgers game 2 out in Chavez Ravine with Mary Hart sitting there back and Magic Johnson just chomping away on his nachos? Like, God damn it.
Yeah,
Rob Lowe's here. Rob Lowe.
The Wax Museum called and they were trying to track her down because she escaped, apparently. I think the key really is Yu Darvish sort of reinvented himself about 2 or 3 years ago and seemed to find some form that he didn't even really have in his young days when he was really overpowering. There's something about learning how to change how you pitch as you age and as you're no longer able to throw the kind of heat that you once did. Darvish was kind of lights out most of the time the last couple seasons. He had a few bad games, but really, like, he's a good pitcher. And I think it's really going to be dependent on keeping the Dodgers scoreless early and being able to go a minimum of 5 innings, because the bullpen, arguably their bullpen didn't get as wrung out last night as the Dodgers, but those guys they had to play an extra series in between coming from the wild card. So a lot of arms have been used a lot, and the Dodgers have been sitting around. And even with their sort of diminished pitching, stamina, right? So I think the key is the rookie of the year kid that plays in San Diego. He's got to get his bat going. Donnie Barrel's got to get his bat going. I mean, you look at the Padre lineup top to bottom, it's pretty dangerous, right? They just need to be hitting. Last night, they had a lot of missed opportunities, a lot of guys left on base, and, they're going to have to fix that. And Mike Schilt, man, scratch that itchy trigger finger and just lay back, let your pitcher work, man. I think that's the key. I really do. I think Darvish, he has the ability, and it's really a question of, how well he puts it together against the Dodgers. That's it. I think that's going to be the factor. As far as all the other series go, I mean, Casey put a pretty good fight against the Yankees last night. I could see them actually winning a game in New York. Guardians are a wood chipper, a juggernaut right now. So I think they're just going to mow right through. And the Mets, who knows? Who knows?
Who's pitching tonight for Philly? Do you got it out there? Philly versus the Mets. I kind of have a feeling the Phillies are going to just bury the Mets tonight. I think the Phillies might have had that syndrome that, you get the bye week and you're just a little out of it, your rhythm and all that. I think after losing last night in Philly, tonight, Bryce Harper is going to go nuts.
Yeah. Harper looks like he's looking to do a bad thing. It's Christopher Sanchez for the Phillies at 11-9 with a 3.32 ERA. Severino's pitching for the Mets. He's 11-7 with a 3.91 ERA. So, pitching wise, there's not a huge disparity between those guys. But I think Sanchez is a little younger. He's probably got a little more juice, a little more gas in the tank. And dude, 11-9 is not bad, right?
Well, we'll see. We'll see what seat Grimace has, if he's in the lower box or if he's upper deck tonight. Because if I'm the Phillies, I don't let Grimace into the building. That's the key to that game.
No. And Philly fans are going to be raging. They're going to be like hot. So,
oh yeah,
come on. I imagine they leave Philly even. So basically, we only got National League games today, right? There's no American League games.
That's what it looked like to me. Yeah. So here's the other thing too. I got to say, while I'm thinking about it, the Mets need to lose because they can't beat the Dodgers. The Phillies can beat the Dodgers.
Yep.
And if the Dodgers somehow get past the Padres, I need a team that can keep the Dodgers away from the World Series, which is the Phillies. So let's go Philly. Let's go San Diego. That's what I want.
Yep. I'm with you. Well, cool. We're going to get back on tonight after these 2 games and do a little live now that we know that it actually works.
We have promised to go live every time the Dodgers lose. So look for us after the Dodger Padre game, especially if the Dodgers lose. But we're probably going to chime in either way because this is new and exciting and we got a lot to say. It's fun. And, when you see a playoff game, every pitch is so important. Every stolen base, every little thing that sometimes in the regular season you take for granted. These are huge moments. Every pitch, man. It's just like, I didn't want to get up. I like a lot of times I get up, walk around. I'm like, oh, I don't. Last night, I'm sitting there waiting for a commercial break to go to the bathroom. I'm not, okay, I want some more popcorn. Hold on. Wait till the inning's over or a pitching change. Like, I'm not a huge, I don't like Dodgers or Padres, but I'll watch these playoff games.
Absolutely. And I think we're being treated to some pretty exciting games in the playoffs here this year. I mean, look, you had the doubleheader the day after the last day of the season to decide the wild card. Arizona was sitting there and they had to wait and they ended up getting knocked out, right? And then the wild card series, okay, yeah, they were all but one were settled in the first 2 games, but they're exciting games, and that's what I love about postseason baseball. Obviously, I'd love it a lot more if the Giants are in it, but this has been some pretty good baseball, some tight games, some late comebacks. I mean, it is exciting stuff. So if you're out there watching it, yeah, enjoy it. I mean, it's not always like this. Sometimes it's just boring. And I think these games are really exciting. And I think it's going to be hot all the way through the World Series. Right. So
Speaking of hot, San Francisco is going to be 99 today. Apparently, the hottest game ever played in Santa Clara for the 49ers at 1 o'clock.
Wow.
They're going to be around 100 degrees down there. So it's heating up in the Bay. It's heating up in MLB. Football's heating up. Hockey's heating up. NBA's starting up. This is a great time for a sports lover right now. And then we cruise into the holidays with Thanksgiving and Christmas. We start the new year off proper. For me, January, beginning of February, toughest part of my life because I want baseball back by then so bad. So I'm eating up this postseason because I know when it's gone, it's gone. Spread the word. Thanks to Crucial Rhythms. Thanks to James Dryden. Thanks to McKenney. Anybody else that's watching that didn't chat or whatever. We'd love to see you and spread the word. We're here to talk baseball for these MLB playoffs.
Awesome. Right on. Yeah. Thanks everybody for watching. And hopefully a Dodgers loss will bring us back online live tonight.
BLA. BLA. BLA.
All right. We out.
Yeah. Thanks, Christian. We'll talk soon.
Yep.